Hello guys and welcome to this video. In this video I want to show you how to set up a very beautiful and your very own Debian system as a beginner. Here you see our finished result. If you also want to do this, just keep on the video, and this video is especially for beginners with Debian and the Linux world. If you are tired of Linux Mint, Pop OS or Cashy OS, then give Debian a shot and I think you won't be disappointed. And with this, welcome to Linuxort. My name is Jean, and yeah, today we are installing Debian from the ground up and are utilizing it with the very first steps. I really recommend you to get a very nice and complete and good feeling and looking Debian 13 system. For this, we need Debian and of course a USB stick where we create a Debian boot stick and then we boot our computer from this USB stick and then we start the installation. At first we have to install or download Debian, of course. I go to debian.org and here we see the big fat download button, so I just click on it and yeah, we are getting the Debian 13 ISO installed. This is a net install ISO, so you have to ensure that your computer has a working internet connection while the installation. And if you now want to create your USB stick, you need this ISO file and also you need a program with which you can write your USB stick or create your USB boot stick. 4 GB are completely enough. You don't need a very large USB stick. For that, I'm using the program Etcher.io. If you are, for example, on Windows, then this is just fine. You just use this. And if you are already on Linux, you can use GNOME disks, for example. If you are on Linux Mint, you can just right-click the ISO file and then select Create Installation Medium. Or you can also go with Berliner Etcher. Here we see the download. Just take the app image, for example. I guess you are getting it done, creating a USB boot stick. It isn't too hard. When our USB boot stick is created, then we jump right back into our computer where we very first start from our USB stick, and we are now jumping into the installation of Debian 13. So if we have everything right, we see our Debian installation menu. We want to choose the graphical install, so I type enter and then we are booting up our installer. Here in our installer, we choose our language. We leave it here to English, so I select continue. Then we select our location and then we hit continue and then our keyboard. Perfect. Then the installer is loading and is checking our internet connection. This takes a moment. If you only have a Wi-Fi device, then you can now type in your password for your Wi-Fi. But in my case, I have a wired connection. So this is just doing everything automatically via DHCP in my case, which is quite the standard, I would say. And now we are asked to give our computer a name. I choose Debian 13 as a host name, but you can choose whatever host name you want. Continue, and then we can define a domain name. We probably don't want this, so I just hit continue without inserting here anything, and then we can choose a root password, so an administrator password. If we want a separate one, then this is our case. I personally do not want to have a separate root password. I just want to use sudo like in other Linux distributions, so I keep all these fields empty and then I hit continue. So I'm not giving here a separate root password. You can do this if you want. I personally do not do this, and this is probably the easier method. So I hit continue here, and then we can define a full name for our new user. I'm choosing my name, Jean, perfect, and then I hit continue, and then we are defining the username. This is just completely fine. What it recommends us here, very important, all usernames on Linux are small. This looks good. I hit continue, and then we can choose a new password for the user. So I'm doing this. I hit continue. Then our Debian installer is doing some things and is loading the partitioner. After some time, we get our options. How do we want to partition our disks? I want to use the guided partitioning, and I want to use the guided using entire disk. This is completely fine. If you want an encrypted system, you can do this with use entire disk and set up encrypted LVM. For example, for notebooks, this could be very important. If you are on business trips or something like this, then you probably want to do this entire disk encryption, but I am just using the normal, so without any disk encryption. This makes it much more easier for data recovery. I hit continue here, and then we can define our partitioning of our disk, or which disk we want to partition. In my case, I only have one disk available here, so I choose this one and hit continue. Then we can define how should Debian partition our disks. I want all files in one partition. This is very easy for beginners and new users. Also, I'm personally using many distributions just like this without a separate home partition, unlike others do. So just choose the right thing for you. If you are unsure, just leave it to the default, all files in one partition. That's completely fine. I hit continue here, and then we are getting a proposal how Debian would format our disk. This looks generally fine. Just accept the default here. This is completely fine unless you want to do something else, like mounting some other partitions right into your system from the startup. This could be your thing here, but normally you just hit finish partitioning and write changes to the disk, and then we choose yes, we want to format those partitions, and then we hit continue. Now Debian is installing the base system, so this takes a bit time, and afterwards we can select our software. So now we can configure another installation media if we have one. Normally you don't have this, so just hit continue here, and then we can configure our package manager from where we want to install software and updates. And I personally am choosing United Kingdom. Perfect, continue, and then I just select the debian.org mirror here. This looks fine for me, so I hit continue again, and then I hit continue again. Unless you have a HTTP proxy, probably you don't have, so just keep it empty and hit continue. Then we are asked if we want to participate in the popularity contest, and this just helps the Debian project to gather some data, how we use Debian and which Debian packages we have installed. So if you want to help the Debian project, then hit yes here. If you know, that's also completely fine, completely okay. So just leave it like it is. But I personally want to help the Debian project here, so I hit yes, and then I hit continue. And now we are coming to the exciting stuff. Here we choose which desktop environment we want to install. Today, I'm personally going with Cinnamon. This is, in my opinion, a very great desktop environment. If you are a complete beginner, then I would also recommend you Cinnamon. If you want to choose something else, then this is also completely fine. And if you want to choose multiple desktop environments, this also is just fine. But just select those environments you really want to use, because otherwise your system gets loaded up and stuffed up with some very useless helper programs, for example, and that doesn't make too much fun. So just keep it very slim here. I'm just choosing Cinnamon, which I can personally highly recommend you. This is everything. So Debian desktop environment, Cinnamon, and standard system utilities. You definitely want to have these. And this is the only things I'm selecting here. Then I hit continue, and now the installation of Debian is progressing. This takes about 10 to 15 minutes, so we have to wait a little bit. After a few minutes, we are asked if we want to install a grub bootloader. Probably you do want this, even if you don't have another system installed, because Linux needs a bootloader, and grub bootloader, yeah, is just such a thing. So make sure to hit yes here, unless you really know what you're doing, and then we hit continue. Then we can define the device where we want to install the bootloader. Normally we want to install it on the main disk from where your computer starts, and in my case this is only one option, so this is very easy here. So I select this disk here, hit continue, and then grub is installing. After a few seconds, the installation is now complete, so I hit continue, and we are doing a reboot right now. Perfect. Our Debian is starting up. We select enter here and then we wait for the Debian to boot. After a few seconds, we are in our login screen. So I type in my username. This is Jean in small case letters in my case. Then I hit enter and then I type in my defined password and then we are at our Debian. But we don't stop here. We are just getting started. At first, I want to configure my right screen resolution. So I go to the menu and search for display, it is called. Here we have it. And then I open this one up and then we select as a resolution my right one. In my case, it's this full HD resolution, but this of course depends on your computer. I hit keep changes in my case and then this looks fine. Okay, now it's getting interesting. At first, I want to install some very specific applications, want to enable automatic updates, multimedia codecs and such things. And we can do this all by hand, or we can use a tool I wrote myself. This is called the Linux Assistant. So I open up the web browser, the Firefox here, and we are opening linuxassistant.org. Here in linuxassistant.org, we download the deb file. This is a powerful helper with search, routines and checks. I open up this file here and then hit install package. Then I type in my password and then we wait for a few seconds. After some time, the installation has finished. We close the installer here and we go to the menu and we search for Linux Assistant. We open this one up and then we hit next. Let's start. And here we can select first steps after installation. We definitely want to do this. So I select this one, then let's start. And then we are getting recommended to install Flatpak. This is very cool for many applications. I definitely recommend you this. This widens your range of applications you can directly install on your Debian. So I click setup Flatpak and then I type in my password, authenticate, and then this takes a few moments. Now we hit next and now we can select our favorite browser. I'm choosing Chromium for mine, but of course you can choose whatever you want. So I click this and then I hit next. And then we can choose which Office software we want to install. And I leave it here to LibreOffice. So this is fine. I hit next. And then we can choose some additional communication software if you want to. For me, Thunderbird is just fine. And the rest is okay for now. Of course, we can install such software afterwards. And then I hit next. And then we are asked if we want to set up a hotkey. I select yes, but of course you can also select skip here. And then we want to do the automatic configuration. This is where the magic happens. Here we get some tasks to update the system to the latest version. I definitely recommend this, but at this case we had a net install, so I probably don't expect too much here, but it doesn't hurt us. And then what I definitely recommend you is to install the multimedia codecs, so make sure this one is enabled. You could define also automatic snapshot with time shift if you want to, but I personally deselect those. And then we see the automatic update manager configuration. This enables automatic updates for very important stuff, so I highly recommend you also to enable this one. And then I hit next. And then we are asked for a password. I hit authenticate and now Linux Assistant is doing all the stuff. If you want to know what Linux Assistant is really doing, you can just hit show commands here and then you see all the commands Linux Assistant is issuing here. While this is doing the technical stuff, we have to work on our appearance of the desktop. We definitely can do a bit more. So at first I open up my Firefox here and we search for a specific website. This is called GNOME Look. So we go to gnomelook.org. Of course, I put you all the links into the video description. And here we choose GTK 3 and 4 themes. And here I want to search for White Sir. And I want to choose the White Sir GTK theme here. This we are gonna use as our window theme. So I hit download here, and I personally select the White Sir Light theme here for light windows, not the dark theme. We wait for the timer to finish and hit download here. Also, I want to install another background. For that, I go to the website unsplash.com, and here you see a specific category for wallpapers, so you can just install a specific wallpaper here. I'm searching here for Ireland, for example, and then afterwards we can also select the orientation. I hit orientation landscape mode here, and then we are getting very nice images out of here. We can also load more images here on the bottom side, and what I want to download is this image here. So I click on this one and then I hit download. You can also choose a specific resolution. For me, the medium one is just fine. Now we can minimize our Firefox and we wait for Linux Assistant to be finished. In my case, this is now the case. So I hit next. And as a next point, we want to install a specific icon theme, because we installed a window theme, or we downloaded a window theme. We also downloaded a wallpaper, but of course, personally, I am not a fan of those folder icons here. Those are very ugly in my opinion, so we choose a different one. I'm choosing the papirus-icon-theme, so we can search inside here for papyrus, just like this. And then this takes a moment. Here we see install papirus-icon-theme. I select this one and then I type in my password, and then this is being installed. Of course, you can just install also papirus-icon-theme by hitting apt install papirus-icon-theme. This is also, of course, fine. This takes a bit time. Now I hit next, and now we are opening our file manager. Here in our file manager, we have our downloads folder, and here we see our installed or downloaded files, of course. We choose this image and move it to pictures. Nice. And then we right click our White Sir Light archive here and we select extract here. And now here in our file manager, I select view and then select extra pane here. Then we have two panes. Perfect. I select the right one here and we go upwards one time, and then I select view and then select show hidden files. Of course, you can also press the F3 key or Ctrl H, and then here I create a new folder. Just right click into the white space here, then hit create new folder, and then we name it .themes, just like this. It has to be named like this. Then I hit enter, and then I choose this folder, and then we are moving this White Sir Light theme to the right side here. Nice. Okay, perfect. Now I can close the file manager and we open up our menu, and then we are searching for themes. We select this themes app here, and here we can define our application appearance. I personally go with White Sir Light here, of course, and in icons I choose the Papyrus Light theme. And this is it. You could also select another desktop theme, but to be honest, the new cinnamon look is very nice, looks very good, so I don't change this one. Now I close the themes window here, and then of course we need to select our background image. So I go to the file manager again, I go to view and remove the show hidden files here, or just press Ctrl H, of course. Then I go to pictures, and then I right click our downloaded image and select set as wallpaper. Nice. and now we have a great wallpaper. Also, I want to edit this panel to be transparent, so there is an extension for this. So I go to the menu and we search for extensions. Nice. Here in extensions, I go to download and then I'm searching for transparent panels. I click the download icon, then go to manage, then select this one, then select plus, and then our panel is transparent. Nice. If you want to change something in the settings, you can also go to the configure icon here, and then you can choose some different things, but I personally do not change anything here, so just you know. Okay, now I close the extension window. We are not finished yet, because we also have to configure our login screen. Because our login screen is a bit ugly right now, we want to look it nicer. So I open up my file manager again, and I want to install the picture to a system folder from where we can also access it from our login screen. So I go to view again and hit extra pane here. Now I go to the right pane here and go to the upwards parent folder here quite a few times until we are on the top, and then I go to the USR folder, then we go to share, and then I select the backgrounds folder. This is this one in my case. And I want to paste this image into this folder here. We can't do this at the time because we are not a system administrator at the current time, but we can open this folder as a system administrator. So I right click this right side here, and then I hit open as root. Nice. Then I type in my password, and then we see our elevated privileges here. So I can now just drag and drop this image here to the right side. Nice. And now we have installed it to our global backgrounds folder. I close both windows here, and then we go to the menu and I search for logins window. Then I type in my password for the login window, and then we can select a different background here. I choose this one. Then I go to the share folder here. Then we go to backgrounds. Here we have it. I click on this and we select this image. Okay, we could also select draw user backgrounds. I don't want to do this at the time because I just want only this one. This is just fine. Okay. And now we go to users. And if you want, I personally recommend you to turn off this hide the user list setting. So you can just select your user and type in your password. This is like normal, I would say. So make sure to disable this one here. And if you want, you can also choose an automatic login. So you don't have to type in any password to log into your computer. And then this automatically starts your user. If you want to do this, you can type in your username here and, for example, choose 0 seconds that your user is automatically logged in, and no login screen will be shown, but I'm not doing this here. So I'm keeping these 2 lines empty. And this is it for the login window. We could also choose something in settings, for example, activate numlock. This could be very good. So I select this one and then I close login window. We are almost finished. There are just a few things I want to show you. One thing is the favorite bar here. I want to remove the terminal here. So I unpin from panel, then I go to the menu. You can do this with a right click to this icon here. So just right click and then you could select unpin from a panel. So I just did this with the terminal, and then we open up our menu, and then I'm pinning, for example, Chromium web browser here. So right click to it and then add to panel. Just choose your favorite browser, of course. Then, for example, Thunderbird as a mail program is great. So I right click it and hit add to panel. And also I'm choosing LibreOffice Writer. Right click to it, add to panel. And now we have some favorite applications here. Now I also want to add a weather applet. So I right click the panel here, then go to applets, and then I go to download. Then we see the weather applet here at the very top. I hit download here, and then I go to manage. Then I click on this weather icon, click on plus, and then we see a new weather icon here. Nice. Perfect. Okay, now I close everything and we restart our computer just to have a look if our login screen is right. So I hit restart. This looks much more better. I just type in my password here and hit enter. Perfect. Now I want to show you the software manager, which comes pre-installed with this Cinnamon desktop. This is called just software or GNOME software. And I open this one up. And then I personally want to add also the Flatpak support for this. So I go to the search icon here and we search for Flatpak. Okay, then we see our software manager. I want to choose this one. And then we see some add-ons, and here we see the Flatpak support. We definitely want to install this, so I hit install here, type in my password, and then this takes a moment. Perfect. Restart software to use new plugins. I go to restart, and then this takes a moment. Now you have access to a variety of almost all Linux applications. So just search for something like Spotify, for example. Here we have it, or Minecraft if you want. Almost everything is available through the Flatpak App Store and of course also via your Debian. So for example, if I search for KeePass, a great password manager in my opinion, KeePass XC to be honest, so I can just choose this and then we can here define if we want to install it as a Flatpak or as a Debian package. I personally, if you have the choice, recommend you always the Debian package, so I choose this one. Hit install, for example, type in my password, and yeah, now you can also very easily install and browse through software with the pre-installed GNOME Software Manager. Nice. So this is it for today. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, because every week we are releasing new helpful stuff about Linux and open source. So just make sure to don't miss any new videos, and see you in the next time. But for now, enjoy your very nice looking and good configured, ready to start Debian 13. Bye.